What's up guys, my name is Hutch and I make videos and put them on the internet. So you're having an existential crisis and your entire life is chaos. So you can't enjoy the things that you used to because every waking moment of your pathetic existence is spent wondering if you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. Fear not, subscribers, for I have a few tips and tricks that will help you along the way of your spiritual journey. First of all, what's an existential crisis? Well, to answer that, first we must answer the basic question of what existentialism is. So existentialism is a school of thought born in the 1800s by a Danish philosopher named Søren Kierkegaard. Existentialism contends that man's need for and search for authenticity is the highest ideal that he can strive for. In a nutshell, it contends that the root of all human suffering comes from man's lack of knowledge of why he exists and what his purpose is on this earth. Angst that arises existentially is angst born out of sheer confusion and sometimes terror that can arise when one simply does not understand why they exist, who they really are, and what is the best way to live their life. So how did you get here? Maybe you're in your early 20s and the reality has finally set in that life as you know it is nothing like what it was in high school. The 20s are confusing enough, but if you're philosophically inclined, then it can be a torturous time in life. Or maybe you stumbled upon Carl Sagan's Cosmos on Netflix at 2 o'clock in the morning when you couldn't sleep, and your mind was rocked so fucking hard that all of a sudden you didn't give a shit whether or not Snooki was pregnant or whether she would make a good mother. Or maybe you didn't respect the edible and you ignored your roommate's advice to just eat a quarter of the brownie because you didn't feel anything 30 minutes into it, so you decided to eat the entire brownie, and all of a sudden your mind is racing so fast that you're considering calling a friend to have them take you to the emergency room because you think you're losing your mind. Regardless, it doesn't matter how you got here. You're here, and that's that. You constantly worry that you're not living up to your true potential. You spend hours scouring Facebook's timeline, comparing your pathetic life to the lives of all your friends who are only posting the good parts of their life. You begin to feel like life is one big party and you're not invited to it. The first thing that I'd like to tell anyone who's experiencing such a thing is that this is a good thing. This is what's referred to as a transformative experience. This is an experience that will change you forever, and if approached correctly and with the right guidance, can only serve to make you a more informed, compassionate human being. If ignored or approached incorrectly, it can lead to some serious bullshit. Careless sex, addiction, porn, gambling, shitty spending habits. These things often arise as a direct result of trying to distract ourselves from the physical, emotional, and psychic pain that we're experiencing as a direct result of existential confusion. The irony is that these distractions are there to be a means to an end, and that end is an end of suffering, but oftentimes the means are more destructive than the end that we're trying to accomplish. Getting back to my point of this being a good thing. In the 1500s, a guy by the name of St. John of the Cross wrote a poem describing what he called the dark night of the soul. For him, and for Christians, this was a poem describing a crisis of faith. It was a period of deep depression that one often feels as a direct result of feeling distance from or a lack of faith in God. That same idea can be applied to areas outside of Christianity and religion altogether. If you're experiencing an existential crisis, you can safely say that you're having your own dark night of the soul. So how the fuck can this be a good thing? As mentioned before, the good in this experience lies in the transformative quality of it. You are forever changed, and you will never be the same after this. For some, that's a terrifying thought. For some, all they want is to go back to their happy, free selves that never gave a shit about life's only important question. They wish Snooki's pregnancy actually had an impact on them again. They just want to go back to their old self. The reality is that while this is a difficult thing to deal with, you changing can be an incredibly good thing. For one, as a direct result of your own suffering, you are more likely to empathize and sympathize with other human beings and their own suffering. You'll begin to notice the suffering in others more easily. In other words, you'll cease to be a selfish asshole, or not as much as before. The other reason this can benefit you is because it leads to knowledge seeking. You might read books on philosophy, psychology, religion, metaphysics, and history. You might seek out a counselor, a mentor, or a spiritual teacher. You might fucking watch Carl Sagan's Cosmos and allow your mind to be blown. All these things are inherently good things. You're putting shit in your brain that wasn't there before. And you might not have ever done that if you weren't experiencing pain. So while self-serving in the nature of this dilemma, knowledge is universally a good thing and can only lead to you being a better, smarter person who can serve his fellow man. There's a bit of altruism that can come from the self-seeking search for relief. Basic tips. Stay the fuck off Google. It's not a doctor, your friends aren't doctors, your relatives aren't doctors, and some asshole in a YouTube comments forum is not a doctor. Some of them are doctors, but very few of them are doctors. None of them would ever try and diagnose you after talking to you for 5 minutes. Stop shopping for a mental disorder. Schizophrenia is more than just having loud thoughts. It's full-on auditory hallucinations. Bipolar is more than just having mood swings. You're not bipolar. You're not going crazy. Second tip, stay the fuck off Facebook. Unfortunately, as exciting as social media is, connecting the entire world with a click of a button, Facebook is usually only a place where people share the good things about their life, and anybody who doesn't is labeled a drama queen. It's not reality. It's fake. It's a superficial world. It's not what is represented. Everyone has their own struggles, and most choose not to share that with people that they don't know. But that doesn't mean that people don't struggle. That doesn't mean that everybody that you look on a Facebook timeline or you see on a Facebook timeline and their life just looks amazing. That doesn't mean that they don't have problems. Their problems are just different from yours, or they might be the same, but they're not. Most people aren't going to be talking about it. So stop comparing your insides to other people's outsides. Read up, study philosophy, study religion. Even if you're an atheist, take what you want and leave the rest. Take a class at your community college. You're basically looking for ammunition against what your brain's going to tell you. And there's no better ammunition than knowledge. Now, taking knowledge and applying it in your life is wisdom. And slowly you will begin to feel wiser. But also remember that if you studied something every day for the rest of your life, you'd still only know 0.00000 infinite zeros 1% of what there is to learn in the universe. So we're all laughable idiots. And that's the great unifying factor. So if you read the cliff notes on Nietzsche, that doesn't make you a fucking genius, and it doesn't mean everybody else is an idiot. So don't get a complex about it when you're reading up on this stuff. Just read it for your own good and take the simple pleasure out of it. The last thing I'll leave you with is what I feel is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, and that is to learn to laugh at your pain. Pain is fucking hilarious in retrospect, but it is really difficult to laugh at that shit when you're in it. If you can laugh at yourself for the ridiculous bullshit that you're putting yourself through, you can learn to laugh at just about anything. And my friends, laughter is the best possible thing that you can do for yourself when you're going through existential angst. Once you've learned to laugh again, you are fucking well on your way towards health again. That's all I got for you today, folks. I think I'm going to do regular Friday vlogs now, but let me know if you like this sort of thing, and if there's anything else that you guys want me to talk about. If it's something that I know about, then I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know about. And if you have your own remedy towards existential angst or paralysis, if you found something that works for you, drop a comment bomb and let us know. Share with us. Spread the joy. And with that, I hope you guys have a good Friday. Have a safe weekend. I'm out of here. Peace out.